Afternoon, everyone. Yep, it is afternoon. I needed to go to the metaphysical shop, but I found that they did not open until 1 p.m. today. Then I kind of found everything I needed elsewhere, which kind of sucks. It happens. So, I think I should probably inform some of you about what happened yesterday if you were not here to see it. We did our Moonology Monday thing as normal. Yep, like we do. And we pulled a full moon in Cancer card, which urged us to let your fears dissolve. And I found it absolutely fascinating because right after I did that one, Moots did a general reading and shared it with me. And of course hers was also about letting go in some way or another. But then something really strange happened. Yasmin Boland, who created the deck that we were using yesterday for the Moonology Monday deck, she sends out a newsletter. That newsletter is, "You've selected this Oracle card because," and it sounded like a clickbait title, so I took the bait and clicked it, and thank goodness I did, because again it was the full moon in Cancer. As it turns out, when I checked my weather app, yes, we were in a waxing gibbous, which means everything was building up to today. Full moon in Cancer. Last wolf moon of this Yule season. Ladies and gentlemen, that was pointed out to me by Stein, who is our Jarl in the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans. So, I just got this interesting PDF and I want to read it to you for just a moment. 2022 will be the year for some hashtag Cancer mood, with this emotional sign presenting itself on multiple occasions. So get ready to feel all the feels. We start our calendar year with an emotional check-in. There's always a desire to rush this time of year. Cancer wants you to come back home to your emotions, slow down, and get clear on what's really important to you. And so, it presented me with a new spread, which I'm going to be laying out now. All of these things just seem to happen. Now, all of these readings, they weren't like singing the exact same song, but they were rhyming on the most harmonious of notes. And so, I've decided that since this kind of fell into my lap, I was going to do this spread today. This is our full moon in Cancer spread. And the first question we ask is, what emotion wants to be honored at this time? And it's none other than a Queen of Pentacles. And a Queen of Pentacles is our nurturing side. You know, when we're lost, or we're alone, or we're scared, she comes in to really just kind of take us into a nice little place, you know, cradle us as she's doing in the picture there. And she also has a serious cast of intelligence. And this is that generosity, our security, magnificence and our liberty. It does represent liberty. Many of us right now kind of need that mothering figure, and here she is. So you may need her, or you may be her. Meaning you may be, actually some of you are, even without the context of the rest of these cards, some of you are ready to embody that sort of nurturing feeling. You really want to show someone else the many worlds that you can see within what you're working on. You want to show everyone else that potential, that the healing is there, that it's possible. So, what emotion are you suppressing? Right there, Eight of Swords. This one's come up. This one came up yesterday. Some of us are trying to suppress fear. Let me tell you a little something about fear. Okay. I know we say never give in to it. Never, ever let yourself become afraid. That's not quite what this card represents, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay to be afraid. I mean, fear can serve you in some ways. It could put you on a heightened state of alert. You could be a little more keenly aware of your surroundings. You may take out those headphones and listen to the world around you. That is never a bad thing, because suddenly you hear, and you look in the direction of that sound, and you see somebody coming toward you with bad intentions. While they're closing that gap, you have a little more time to move. Make sense? We need fear, but we need it when it serves us, not when it cripples us. There's the difference. Suppressing fear completely does not really help. What it means is don't let it control you. And like I said, we're suppressing a lot of that fear because we're having trouble seeking that nurturing, feeling. That feeling of, I might need help. Some of us have huge difficulty asking for help because we think that we're superhuman and we can do it all. And in some cases, we are. But there are times where help is going to be needed. Alright, so, next card. What action can you take to honor your emotions? Knight of Cups. And doesn't the Knight of Cups tell us to slow down? To take stock of our emotions. He's got his cup here. And he's letting his horse just kind of like trot a little bit. That horse is almost barely moving. We need to slow down a little bit. Do you really need that next day delivery? Can you give them a couple days? Can you give them a few weeks? That sort of thing. Can you slow down enough to give someone else the time needed to do something and to maximize its benefit for you? Let me tell you something. Right now, I can tell you this much. A lot of places right now are overburdened and overloaded. There are companies, there are businesses, they're operating on less than a skeleton crew. And I'm going to say this, in my opinion, it's their own fault. It's their own damn fault. They should not have listened to, no, I think you know well where I'm going with that. They should not have listened to the fearful. The fearful are letting fear rule their lives, and they want to use it to rule yours. But can you slow down with those people who are just as much victims of it as you are? Now, by victim, I don't mean this is a permanent thing. This is going to be we will have a solution to this very soon. But something's waking up, ladies and gentlemen. Something wanted that message from yesterday out very badly, and I suggest you go listen to it. Because tonight is going to be a very powerful night, and you're going to need this kind of energy for the rest of your week. Anyway. But when you slow down, you maximize the benefit to yourself. Having a little patience here. And that's the action you can take to honor those emotions, is having that patience. Whether it's with someone else or even yourself. Now, what is your higher self asking to reflect on this full moon? Let's have a look. Answer is death. We've said this before, some things have to pass away for new beginnings. The old year has passed. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to tell you, we've gone through 3 winters of this nonsense. It's time for it to die. It's time for it to let go. More importantly, it's time for us to let go. And here we go, the final one. How can you slow down and stay in touch with your emotions? We've got a King of Cups right here, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see that king sits very, very proudly with the water all around him. You can be fair of business, law, divinity. You can be responsible, disposed to oblige to anyone who asks. This is also good of people who profess. So science, law, art, creative intelligence. But we start with a queen, we end with a king. And we're really about those emotions, but this is where you slow down, you take a moment to reflect, and you're going to dispassionately make your cases. Allow your beliefs to be challenged, because if you do, that allows them to become stronger if they hold up. And if you're worried about your beliefs crumbling, then perhaps they're not as strong as you imagine them to be. So maybe it's time for a little bit of a mental change, just a little shift, in order to make your world a brighter place. Anyway. So let's sum it up. In short, it's time to let go of impatience. That impatience comes from your worst fears. The fears that are driving you, those fears need to die today, right now. You can release them on this full moon. It'll teach you a little patience. You are going to be sent trials and tribulations. But if you have patience and you're able to argue your cases dispassionately, work a little smarter rather than harder, you'll find that even though the waters around you are choppy, you will be seated very solidly. You can start that way and end that way. Just be sure what you're seated on is solid. That, my friends, is the throne. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you a wondrous full moon in Cancer. I love you all. Make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. And as always, my friends, shine on.